Slovakia and the Quiet Sheep. Country, Australia and New Zealand. Players, Greek 393, PGA, Takis Sakis. Their name alone speaks mountains of their teamwork. The balance of two Australians with Greek heritage, Greek, and Takis Sakis in the Slovakia, and the Quiet Sheep instills the New Zealander, PGA. These veteran players were nurtured in the balanced Anzac Mao community games and are very used to playing tough games. They all have many game hours combined, including competition experience, and will surely be a force to be reckoned with. This lineup consists of Greek, the ex-Australian Army tank commander and the king of light vehicles who came second in the first Assault Squad 1 vs1 International. With a style which logic simply doesn't understand, his Willys AT Jeep will catch you with your pants down. Then you have Takis Sakis, the Great Wall Defense, with MGs and sandbags far as the eye can see, and topped up with PGA, the workhorse of sound consistent gameplay. They make a very well-rounded team with playstyles that complement each other and will be able to punish anyone that underestimates them. Michael B. Appreciation Society. Country, America and Europe, undisclosed. Players, Jimmy the Dope Fiend, Hate Squad Factory, Maverick. A name that commands respect in honor of a cool guy and ex-great Manowar player Michael B. This team is relatively unknown to the competitive community other than Jimmy the Dope Fiend, which you may also know him as BK Otto and also as the beloved Start 29 from AS1 days. A formidable team enhanced with Hate Squad Factory and Maverick, they have the experience and skill to test any team. Word on the street is that in recent practices they have proven their early game is strong, with great pressure attacking and very good micro and grenades. You do not want to be on the back foot versus this team, as they will most likely be at your spawn. This team may not be the best in individual skill in the tournament, but they have proven in practice games that can be very deadly early to mid game. If you can survive the early mid game, you may find cracks in their armor. AU Pro Gaming. Country, Australia and New Zealand. Players, Strat 29, Hansi 66, Demon Heart 2. This team consists of two young students around legal age and one gaming addict who is not so young. Initially formed with the idea of forming an AU super team to counter teams like Rape Time, the lineup includes players who are undefeated in tournaments, with Strat 29 and Hansi placing first and second respectively in the last Assault Squad 2 1 vs 1 tournament. With Strat 29's good macro and Hansi's good micro, it is a very good combination with the balanced tank play that complements Hansi's infantry micro. For Hansi, the key to winning games, he states, is infantry, infantry and more infantry. One motto that Strat 29 agrees with, and is also happy not to worry about it. He can leave the infantry micro to Hansi whilst he fills in the gaps. This team may look like a dream on paper with 6,000 plus hours in the Manowar series put together. But these days Hansi may be a bit out of practice with his busy university commitments, but the team may still be strong as it is well implemented by Demon Heart, who has proven to be a skillful player if he can keep his rage under control. As a team, we are very wary of all teams, especially the usual suspects as Team Screaming Meanies consisting of Chino, Godwin and Boogie, and also Team Rape Time with the very skillful players Shotter and Raving. They are also fearful of the relatively unknown Russian and Chinese teams, who probably have good micro and strategies. 5TA. Country, Russia. Players, Weiss, Faust, 2 Steps from Hell. The only Russian team in the tournament, these guys are quite mysterious to the competitive community. A lot of teams are curious but are also fearful of this relatively unknown team with the solid lineup of Weiss, Faust and 2 Steps from Hell. The fear is spread further by looking up their Assault Squad 2 statistics. With 2 players in their team in the top 5 of the AS2 matchmaking leaderboard, with Weiss being first on the leaderboard. But these fears may be unfounded as there are not many competitive players that are playing matchmaking now because it is played with a lot of exploits. Nevertheless, this team has got to this position and it's not an easy feat to achieve as they look to have the skill to go far. With default maps in the lineup, the Russians will be used to playing these maps, and I think will do extremely well with the narrow frontal battles where MGs and emplacements will shine. Against all terrorism. Country: England, Australia. Players: SAS Azar, RTR Armored, Mental Retardation Man. Azar is a name you must know if you played Men of War. When he's not away travelling for work, he's on his computer playing the game, racking up a staggering 4,683 hours playing Assault Squad 1. Playing and learning the game originally with the likes of Boz Strat29 in the SAS clan, Azar was on the top 10 of the leaderboards for Assault Squad 1 for a long time. It also seems Azar has now adapted his style to Assault Squad 2, as he says. He likes the early game with tanks and infantry fights, and winning, getting the infantry kills early so they can get good tanks and control the middle. This team is complemented by Mental Retardation Man, a solid player that has the potential to carry his team. But that's if he can keep his raging under control. They are further enhanced with RTR Armoured, an experienced player from England. These players are known to be very solid pub players, but they may struggle versus the players used to playing in competitions. Hopefully, they can pull off some upsets. Screaming Meanies. Country: America and England. Players: Chino, Boogie Wargame, Godwin. Screaming Meanies are well known in the competitive community. All the members are players that consistently do well in tournaments, with usual suspects Godwin, the consistent dark horse, if that does make any sense. His great macro play and has consistently given him placings of 3rd in most of the tournaments. This team is further enhanced by Chino, the skillful Asian American who has fantastic micro and skill. Chino literally invented the Assault Squad spam and was probably the first person to use it in a tournament game, changing the current meta and thus causing a rebalancing of German assault squads and light vehicles for good. Either that or his bad PC might have won him his games, as he could lag his opponents to death. Teams should be wary to choose maps with the least entities and buildings to stand a chance when he's playing. Last but not least, you have Boogeyman the accountant, who loves to analyze his own gameplay on his YouTube channel and try new tactics. A humble and eager player who we saw grow from newbie to expert on various tournaments, he will surely be a player's favorite. This team has the skill and attitude and has the potential strength to beat any team. When Godwin was asked what was the one interesting thing about his team, he states that Chinito is Asian, and that will give us the advantage. Rape time. Country: America and Mexico. Players: Raving, Shota, Jutska. A very scary team on paper, this team is what you would call the ultimate rape team in public games. Likely to consistently be able to camp enemy spawns in these type of games, and even versus the very good pub players. These guys are experts in pressure play, micro and ultra aggressive style that will make any team sweat. When playing this team, you can expect them to throw the kitchen sink at you. Half-tracks, light vehicles, conscripts, and even a few taunts and insults to good effect. However, this may be their weakness. With their mindless light vehicle attacks, you may be able to break their rhythm with nicely placed ambushes. With Guerrero de Alba, also known as Shota, his claim to the evolution of the game is causing DMS to add timers and increase the cost of half-tracks from 125 MP to 150 MP. After a few instances, their team name can be proud of. Completing the lineup and for the first time appearing in a tournament is Raving, also known as I'm a Potato or something to do with a potato. This team is extremely strong on paper, and both these players are known and feared as top players that just haven't proven themselves in tournaments yet. When supplemented by the solid player Judkins, I don't see why they cannot beat everyone or even rape them. Jager Bombs. Country: America and Canada. Players: Baron 11, Brigham. A team known for being super friendly and fun to be around, Brigham is the life of the party and loves his Budweiser more than he wants optimum coordination to play well in his games. A very easygoing American cowboy-esque character, he is supported by his trusty skillful Baron 1. Unfortunately, this team will have its work cut out for them to place well, unless Brigham drinks a good batch of alcohol and figures a way to make Mao work Drunken Master style, just like those Kung Fu Drunken Masters in the movies. Longtime players in the competitive community, they are known for their crazy tactics, but Brigham is more known for his ability to drink alcohol. These players are solid players, but may not be able to make an impact unless Brigham decides to actually take this seriously. Chinese team, country, China. Players, Liang WJ, Lizzie Heng 718. As their very creative but proud teammate states, they are solely from China. The name is straight to the point, and if these guys name themselves over the most populous country in the world, they must be pretty damn good. Another relatively unknown team, these guys have the current competitive community in fear. There have been sightings and rumors spread of the legend of Liang WJ's skills micro, and that has earned him this place in the Veteranship League. Supplemented by Lizzie Heng 718 with over 2,000 hours in the game, they state quick coordination, consciousness and awareness as their game style, with good operations and infantry tactics to win their games. These responses give an aura of a very efficient, logical war machine that will be very consistent in their games. Liang WJ is a photographer by trade, and he will most likely be taking a very happy smile selfie after beating the current top-known teams. Great Han, country, China. Players, Wellington, Deng Bibi, Meyer. Another Chinese team using the name of the Han Dynasty as their strength. With a very experienced player in Meyer, he has played the game for 5 years with a huge 8,000 or so hours clocked in the series. Supplemented by Wellington's 3,000 plus hours and Deng Bibi, these guys on paper have what it takes to go far with the experience and micro to boot. Showing respect for the other Chinese teams, they fear Liang WJ's team the most in the tournament. Students by trade, these guys must have studied the intricacies of the game, but they state a simple strategy to win: tank, infantry and grenades. Hopefully that is not in order, as there'll be a lot of unnecessary banking. This team is relatively unknown and thus feared. Hopefully they can go far, even though Deng Bibi in Chinese apparently means full. Kerusut Gomen, country, Japan. Players, Desert of Tokyo, J-Dudes and Buckethead. A formidable team from Japan who has had a lot of experience playing mainly other Asian teams. Their isolation from playing other groups will be their main weakness, and they may need to pick up the current meta to stand a good chance at the title. Recently testing the waters practicing with outsiders, they have shown that their style is unique and have evolved a very cautious low-risk game style to most of the current teams. Always keen for a fight though, and never quitting, this team will surely improve with each game. If they can adapt and fuse their styles with the current competitive community, they can potentially be the dark horses of the tournament. With the wise Desert of Tokyo, he claims, not the fastest player, not the slowest, prudent. And complemented by the Canadian expat living in Japan, J-Dudes and Buckethead, this team represents the will to fight and the right to self-defense. And whilst they are quite unknown, they hope they can cut down some teams in true samurai spirit. Manziel, country, Argentina. Players, Eversaw and Staphylococcus. From the land far away, we have a veteran South American team with 1,500 hours combined. After playing these guys, you will be surprised how good they are coming from a small community. This team is even missing some of the best Argentina players in the form of BIM5 Arg, who is yet to transition to AS2. Hopefully they can do well without him, as moving to AS2 has obligated them to change their way to play, and apparently they're still trying to find their way. But from what they have told me, they do seem to have a good grasp on what has changed in AS2. Their favourite game units are assault infantry and medium tanks, and they rarely use artillery or super heavy tanks. And they like to keep it mobile as well. Compared to other teams, they still love unique units like the radio operator and the SPG arc fire tanks. These guys may pull off some upsets by using more trickier tactics or tracking the tank, and then using a special unit to finish it off instead of buying a bigger tank and using brute force tactics. This team is composed of Eversaw, who is a medical student and loves reading, and I'm sure he has read every guide to this game and balance thread and will definitely understand the current meta. He's also supported by Staphylococcus, a real mouthful who is a great swimmer and has recently graduated at biochemistry. Both of them seem to have the mindset and technical capabilities, and hopefully they can both ride the waters of this very solid lineup in this league.